So now let's talk a little bit about different pirates. Captain Kidd, what I call the unluckiest pirate. Actually, he married well. He started out well. He married a woman, Sarah Bradley Cox-Ort. Unfortunately, she was in her early 20s and already had lost 2 husbands who died, so that was kind of an indication of things to come for him. Not a good sign. Ship. Most pirates, like I said, they captured their ship. They stole it from port. They took it in battle. They would gain prominence by how difficult it was to get the ship. Obviously, getting a 4th-rate ship from the British Navy was a big deal. Launched them into fame. And by the way, you have 1st-rate, 2nd-rate, 3rd-rate. Like today we say it's 1st-rate. The largest naval ship of the time was a 1st-rate in the British Royal Navy. That would be like a triple-decker guns. Anyway, his case, he had to say, home equity line. I borrowed the money. Got a toaster with it, right? So he immediately did not go up on the pirate scale. Right, first thing out of port, he failed to salute a Royal Navy ship, and they took most of his crew. So first day out was pretty bad. Why would the Royal Navy, you think, react so badly and take his crew? That's right, they needed him. Yeah, the Royal Navy, of course, was always desperate for people. They would have press gangs, look for any able-bodied seaman in a riverfront bar, whatever they could find. In fact, does anyone know where the term "here's looking at you" came from? Why it's related to that? Yeah, here's looking at you if somebody gave you a drink. I'm sorry. Oh. Well, the answer is, the Royal Navy, they would send out a recruiter, as it were, to the local front bars if they didn't want to force you, through a gang, and they would give you a shilling, and they put it in the bottom. You wouldn't know it. They'd put a shilling in the bottom of a drink. And so if you drank the beer, they'd say, oh, you accepted the enlistment bonus, and you have to go on board. It became so common that's why a lot of colonial mugs at the time had like tin on the side and glass on the bottom. So people got wise to that, and they would try to look through to see if there was a coin on the bottom before they drank it. And so they'd say, when they looked, they'd say, well, here's looking at you, to see, to confirm that they weren't going to go in the Navy if they took the drink you just bought them. Anyway, so loses most of his crew. The rest, as he sailed along, fell to cholera. And then, the first ship he attacked, he thought it was going to be French, and he had a letter of marque from the English, who's started out a privateer. They had thought he was French, whatever, or thought, anyway. Yeah, anyways, after the French, they thought he was British, or they thought he was French. They hoisted French. Turns out they were British. So he accidentally attacked a ship that was strictly disallowed by his contracts. Anyway, so as you can you imagine if you're a bank robber and suddenly you say to your buddies, oh wait, I was supposed to rob 1201 Main Street. Right, let's give it back. Okay, just put it back in the vault, and and then we'll go to that one. Obviously, they didn't like that idea. And by the way, the crew that he had amassed after he lost most of his crew were really pirates, and so they said no thanks. We're going to keep it. They ended up mutinying, and then ultimately, through the rest of his career, was similar to this. And then he ultimately was caught and tried, and unfortunately, they lost his letter of marque. He actually brought it to the trial, and it got lost. Bummer. Anyway, so it didn't go well for him, and he was executed. Okay, well, let's switch gears a little bit, go to the most successful pirate, Edward Teach, also known as Blackbeard. He began his career working for another pirate, and then he became captain of one of his sloops. So another point here is that pirates typically didn't go on one ship. Obviously they'd capture other ships as they went through their business, and they'd have 2 or 3 ships, so they became little fleets, as it were. So he was actually put in command of one of his ships. But if you can see on this picture, I don't know if you can see that, his beard is braided. Yeah, interesting guy. He actually braided his beard, and they say, unlike this picture, it went all the way up to his eyes. So his beard covered his face, and he would take the braids and put them over his ears. Apparently he thought that was some sort of fashion statement. And then ultimately when he went into battle, he would put wicks in his beard or his hat. There's a certain amount of debate as to which one, and light them on fire, and then so he'd look more fearsome when he went into battle. So, you see a pirate flag coming your way and the guy's face is on fire, more likely he'd give up right away, right? Okay, so he had amassed a fleet. He actually took over, had the Queen Anne's Revenge, and then they had a taste for wine, which I find interesting. In fact, they had one particular thing that made history books where they captured a ship with 100 barrels of wine, liked it so much that they virtually sailed in a circle around this island looking for more. So I find that, can you think of another reason for an intervention? Like, hey, we've been sailing in a circle for 4 months. Maybe we've got a problem. Anyway, so they did that. And one of the more interesting things, again, with most of these guys, I'm not really going through their whole career. I'm just going through particularly interesting incidents. Went into Charleston and with his whole fleet by this time and demanded all their money and a pardon. It's almost like Jimmy Cagney in the original movie is, I'm going to slap you and you're going to like it, So that's what he did. And they actually said yes. I mean, that's how powerful he was. Anyway, but he went back out to sea, had some more adventures, and then came back to Charleston. Obviously, he was able to do it once. This time he came back, and he needed, he said, well, we need medicine this time. He had a crew of 500 by this time. And anyway, they needed medicine for syphilis. So it kind of gives new meaning to the word pirate booty, right? That wasn't my grandkids. That was mine. Anyway, I wanted to show you, I also thought, I put in this picture because I thought he is sort of like the Pirate of the Caribbean pose, So Johnny Depp, I don't know if you saw that picture when he created how he was going to play that character, but anyway, so after he took Charleston hostage for the second time, obviously the authorities were getting kind of ticked off. So they sent 2 sloops after him with Lieutenant Maynard from the British Royal Navy. They actually had a very long and protracted battle, and this picture, unlike most pictures of the era, was fairly accurate. They say they literally was hand to hand. He lasted a long time. It came down to the 2 guys, and Lieutenant Maynard won. When they did the post-mortem, they found that he had been shot 5 times and continued fighting and had multiple slashes from swords. So he was a tough guy. As you would guess, lighting his face on fire. Anyway, but oddly enough, Lieutenant Maynard, you'd think that would launch him into become like the next Lord Nelson. He basically, defeated the biggest pirate on the planet, but he didn't. In fact, it took him a long time just to get paid. So never got promoted, nothing. So it's one of those mysteries of maritime history. How come the guy wasn't launched in his career?